Que pasa YouTube, 6 Foot Hacks here. Happy guys today, week 5 of the TBU. Now if you guys may have missed a team building video that was uploaded earlier today, a link to that will be down below so you guys can know what I'm bringing. Now before you guys leave and wonder why this is not live recorded, Jack and I actually played this battle earlier today because we couldn't play last week because he was really sick, and then the one day that we scheduled it to play, we both had things come up and just couldn't play. So we're playing today on Friday, and I'm hoping to get this up later today, sorry. And we took our first loss last week, so I've been kind of stressful about that because I really don't want to lose this battle. Don't want to take 2 L's in a row. Of course, if you guys do enjoy the video though, make sure to hammer that like button down below and let me know what you think about the battle, what you think about our matchup. Check out my boy Jack, aka Just Weavile. His channel link, Twitter link, and all that is down in the description as well. Now looking at team preview, he brought 5 of the 6 Pokemon I thought he was going to bring. I was expecting him to bring Primarina or Tapu Bulu over Smeargle because Smeargle is just kind of dead weight after it gets up its hazards, or if it's even able to get up its hazards, that is. So in theory, I'm kind of up 6-5 already, and typically when you see a Smeargle, it's just about 9 times out of 10 always going to be a lead. So while my original plan was to lead off with either Jolteon or my Landorus, I'm actually going to end up leading off with my Mismagius, expecting him to lead off with his Smeargle, because the good thing about this is that he most likely does not have any offensive move to break my substitute, so I'll be able to most likely substitute turn 1. There's also the chance that he'll switch out thinking that I'll go for the taunt, as he actually stays in, goes for the Spore, and this is really good because I'm hoping he stays in again so I can get off a nasty plot. But no, he does end up making the hard switch directly into Umbreon, which is absolutely amazing because if you saw the team building video, you will know that Mismagius is the mon to break his wall core of Cresselia and Umbreon, because it can break one of the two, especially because at +2 Twinkle Tackle has a really good chance to OHKO Umbreon. Even if I had got a really low damage roll and he had barely lived, there was the good possibility that he was going to go for Foul Play just to break my substitute. So at that point, Umbreon would have been extremely low to the point where I could have knocked him out with a Dazzling Gleam, or he would have just saved it for Death Fodder later in this battle. So I'm able to get the roll in my favor, as 3 turns in, I'm already able to break his wall core and get rid of Umbreon, which could have been extremely annoying. I really thought that this battle was going to be a lot longer than it was going to be, but I also didn't expect to lead off with Mismagius and just straight nuke Umbreon. So I'm able to Shadow Ball the Tentacruel, and from how much damage that did, I'm going to be able to tell that he is definitely assault vested. He also doesn't get Black Sludge recovery, and there's no way I'm going to leave him as Magius because I have a lot of use for her, especially because she can still outspeed that Charizard if the Smeargle does turn out to have sticky webs, which he could still have, or he could just be rocks with spikes and T-spikes, which could also be kind of annoying. So I'm able to Psyshock, knock out the Tentacruel, and I actually outsped him because Jack thought that I was going to go for a Mirror Coat, and I actually ended up going for Psyshock, so I was able to finish him off there, which is really good because now as soon as I get on my Stealth Rocks, I will be able to get off 50% of HP on that Charizard Y, as in comes the Smeargle. I made a bit of a risky play here by staying in because he could have definitely gone for the Spore, which is what I'm expecting him to go for now, as I do leave in my Necrozma, and this is where him potentially burning me with the Scald as I switched into Necrozma on the Tentacruel would have been really good because I could have just knocked out the Smeargle here with another Psyshock. Although, I guess in that scenario, he most likely would have just brought in Charizard Y, so I guess it's a good thing that I let him put me to sleep because now I can bring in Landorus, and the good thing about this is that I will be able to go for my Stealth Rocks the following turn as he gets up his Stealth Rocks now, and there's still the chance that he may have spikes. Luckily though, it turns out that I'm faster than him here because he went for Counter, which has negative speed priority if I'm not mistaken, or negative priority in general. So I was able to outspeed him there by getting on my rocks. And here I end up going for the Earthquake, not wanting to U-turn into a counter. I guess in hindsight, should have gone for the U-turn. That definitely would have been the way better play, because now I have to potentially risk this Cresselia getting up a substitute. So I'm going to be forced to go for the U-turn, and because he does have the webs up and my Necrozma is asleep, I can't switch to Necrozma and Toxic him. So what I'm going to do is actually U-turn into my Jolteon. Now the good thing about this is that my Jolteon actually outspeeds his Cresselia even after webs. So if he had gone for the substitute here, then I would have been able to just keep spamming Thunderbolt, and because he had substitute, there was a good chance that he wouldn't have the Moonlight, as he reveals to have the Ice Beam, which has me thinking, okay, now he either doesn't have Moonlight or he doesn't have substitute. So I'm going to go for the Heal Bell, just wanting to wake up my Necrozma. I really wish I had kept Toxic on Jolteon, because it would have come in handy for this scenario specifically, because I could have just straight Toxic Cresselia, stopped it from going for Sub-Calm Mind if it did still have it, but it reveals to have the Moonlight, which now I'm 99% sure he's not Sub-Calm Mind. However, though, he could still have Calm Mind. So I have to be careful with that as I go for the very safe Volt Switch here. I was thinking of going for the Hidden Power Ice. It definitely crossed my mind, but I didn't want to pull a trigger on the off chance that he did stay in, and by Volt Switching, I could have then just brought in my Shaman potentially and gone for the Toxic, or even Necrozma, gone for the Toxic and then gone from there. As he brings in the Zydoge, I have a relatively safe switch into this, which is my Landers. Even if he was Choice Banded with Outrage, it only does enough damage to 3-hit KO me, so I can take the hit and then in return go for the Earthquake, put him in range of where he's going to get knocked out by Earthquakes. Plus, if he did have the Hidden Power Ice, I could have then brought in my Shaman, so then I could have lived Life Orb 1000 Arrows and Life Orb Outrages pretty easily at that point if he was Life Orb with Hidden Power Ice. So the 1000 Arrows does literally nothing to me, so I'm thinking that he's probably not banded, but he's not Life Orb, so he could be Z-Move or Lumberry, which means he may be Dragon Dance, so that is something I have to keep in the back of my mind. But as long as I keep Landers at enough HP, I should be able to deal with Zygarde accordingly with it. So I U-turn into my Shaman here. This is really good because now I can finally just go for the Toxic here. Him switching into Charizard Y isn't a bad play to do either. That's actually another reason why I wanted to go for Toxic as opposed to going for the Leech Seed, because by Toxicing Charizard, if he does have Roost, he can keep roosting off Toxic damage and switch out and be brought back up to where he could potentially switch back into rocks again, as where Leech Seed would only do a little bit of residual damage each time, and then that way Toxic is with that Charizard for the rest of this battle if he is able to save it, is what I'm trying to say. So I go for the Toxic here again after getting paralyzed on the switch in the Smeargle. Kind of do wish I went for Seed Flare, because either way, after I get rid of Smeargle, he has a basic 100% free switch in to what is a Charizard Y in the sun. So I'm just going to stay in here as he tries to go for the Spore, predicting me to want to switch out. This was exactly why I didn't want to switch out, because he could have spored whatever I brought in, and I put myself in a bit of a bad scenario here because he pretty much got a free Spore, or he just got a free switch into Charizard Y, which I gave him the free switch in the Charizard Y because what I can do here is sack off my Jolteon, because with him having webs up, I don't outspeed this Charizard, and I don't outspeed Zygarde, and I don't have Toxic, so I can't really do anything to Cresselia. And now that I know it's not Sub-Calm Mind, I don't need it to take damage from Thunderbolt to wear it down. So I can just sack off my Jolteon here. As much as I would have loved to keep Jolteon around, it's just the most expendable team member that I have. And I'm just really happy I was able to use Heal Bell with it. And I do kind of wish I had Toxic, but I mean, it is what it is, as I can now bring in the man, the mon, the myth, the legend himself, Pyukumuku, because this Charizard Y is going to have to square up real quick, because not only is he going to knock me out, but because of my ability Innards Out, I will be doing all that damage right back to him, which is going to knock him out, especially after Stealth Rocks. Now, Jack told me that he should have gone for the Air Slash, but I went for the Toxic on the off chance that he tried to go for the Fire Blast. So, unless he had flinched me 2 turns in a row, then there was no way that this Charizard would have been able to beat me 1v1. Even if it did beat me 1v1, after the Toxic damage, it's in range of where I can just bring in my Mismagius, click Shadow Ball, and knock him out. So on the double down, he brings in his Zydoge as I bring in my Necrozma. I'm going to make the safe switch directly into my Landers because I don't want to risk him potentially having Lumberry, and there's a chance he may go for a Z move here as he will be intimidated. I should be able to live any hit, and it turns out that he has the Dragon Dance, which, like I said, I kept in the back of my mind, but I really wasn't expecting it to be Dragon Dance. I could have seen him maybe bringing Scarfed if I brought Scarf Jolteon to kind of check that, if he did think I was going to expect him to bring Webs. Either way though, I'm honestly in a really good spot here because after 2 Stealth Rock switch-ins, I do have a chance to knock out this Zygarde with Earthquake so long as he doesn't have HP and defense EVs. The roll is in his favor to live, but at that point, I live any one +1 hit and then I just knock him out with U-turn. So I'm able to knock him out with the Earthquake because I did get the roll. Like I said, would have lived any hit and then knocked him out. And then his last mon is going to be this Cresselia, which at this point, unless he has Rest, which I highly doubt, there's nothing that this Cresselia can do to win him back the battle because all I have to do is U-turn into my Shaman, Toxic him, and then Leech Seed and then Seed Flare, and then at that point the match is basically over. I could have brought in my Miss Mages, but 1, I was expecting him to Thunder Wave, and 2, Shadow Ball is a damage roll at the amount of HP that he is at after Leftovers recovery. There's also the chance that I probably wouldn't have been able to get behind a substitute to Nasty Plot. Then he could have Thunder Waved me, and then it just probably would have been a lot longer of a battle than it should have been, basically is what I'm trying to say. As I'm able to Leech Seed, not Leech Seed, well I do Leech Seed it, but I Toxic him first because then that way it's just gonna rack up damage every time. And I just did this to be on the safe side because I didn't want this Cresselia to somehow beat the rest of my team 1v1. And yeah, that's basically the battle. Toxic is gonna wear him down, Leech Seed is gonna knock him out, and then Seed Flare is gonna put him in range over Leech Seed. We'll finish him off. So good game to my boy Jack. Definitely a complete turnaround after we took our first loss on week 4. Which, if we do face Ethan again, I'm looking to win this time. So yeah, good game to my boy Jack. Again, guys, definitely check him out. There are going to be 2 videos on the end screen. If you have not seen them already, definitely watch them. And with all that being said, thank you guys for the great support on the TBU videos. Simple thing for you to do is leave a like. Really do appreciate all of your support, guys. Thank you so much. And I am out of here. Future TBU battles will be live recorded, so do not worry. Most likely not going to be any other post-coms like this. So yeah, check out the videos, guys. I'm out of here. Later.
Cause my brain and heart are both tied in the knot, and this hinders me from crying a lot. This causing me to show no emotion. But when I said I cared, I wasn't joking. But I guess it's too late for me to become broken. For now, I'm living with no more pain, tears, or hoping. I'm just coasting. Yeah, I said I'm coasting. No more pain, tears, and hoping. For real.